Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your NXT Takeover Respect live reactions. I want to apologize for us not being able to start at the very beginning of this show. We always try and be as prompt as possible, but I was out. I didn't get home until about 5 minutes after 8, so now we're doing this. We've got Finn Balor and Samoa Joe versus the Mechanics right now, and the Mechanics are absolutely picking Finn Balor apart. I am going to be uploading these matches separately, so this is just going to be the shortest match on the card, and then the rest is going to go smoothly, hopefully.
Well, Ashton, it's funny, man. I was really, watching this match while you were out. I was kind of thinking to myself, I knew the Mechanics weren't going to lay over and just and die for Power and Joe. It wasn't going to be like Enzo and Cass to get to the semifinals. This is a team that, they work so well together. They're a cohesive unit. They know how to cut the ring in half, and they know how to dissect you. And they are doing a masterful job of picking apart the leg of the NXT champion, Finn Balor.
And turning this into a handicap match.
Exactly. I mean, Ashton, you know me. If there's one thing you've known about me in the course of our friendship, in the course of doing Twitwell, I'm a big sucker for the tag team fundamentals, and the Mechanics have brought back the science, baby. They are a masterful team. And now look at that. Look at that. Balor gets to the ropes. Dawson pulls him back and increases the leverage. You don't get any better than the Mechanics. And that's the thing. Balor and Joe, and I was even kind of saying this to myself, sure, they may have fostered a camaraderie being on the indies together. The Mechanics are a legitimate team, and they know how to work together, and they know how to maximize their environment.
And look at that, Dawson leaning into it to increase the effectiveness while Balor was on the ropes for the count.
It's genius. I'm telling these guys.
And that's the thing too, John. I said this is turning into a handicap match. Well, you can use that in more ways than one. It's a handicap match, and then it's 2-on-1 in the Mechanics versus Balor. But it's also Finn Balor might just be handicapped after this match.
Wordplay for the win, my friend. And think about the genius of this.
Oh, but look at this. Balor Dawson just got kicked out.
Creates that opening. But Ashton, think about this. With that leg taken out, it reduces the efficacy of the coup de grace. And that may be a pivotal point there. And look at that.
So smart.
And this is why I love the Mechanics, and this is why I would love to see the Mechanics in the finals. And now look at this, the backbreaker, beautiful elbow drop by Dash Wilder. These guys realize this is our moment tonight. This is their takeover debut, and they're making the most of it.
Yeah, they really are. They're doing a great job. And it's so funny because anytime anybody gets interviewed from the Performance Center or NXT, the names that always come up as the workhorses and the guys that are going to be really, really good once they get a shot, Scott Dawson, Tyler Breeze, Ty Dillinger.
Yeah. And look at it now, because Scott Dawson is, in the words of good old JR, maximizing those minutes.
Another name that does come up a lot, though, is Chad Gable, I will admit.
Yes, and we will see him tonight. And Ashton, I love the game plan of the Mechanics here. They knew that Balor was close to tagging Joe, so they divide up the ring. One guy takes one side, the other guy takes another, and they haven't lost control since. But now look at Finn trying to use the free leg here.
Finn Balor is a smart guy. You don't get to the top being dumb.
Certainly not, Ashton. I think the one advantage that Finn Balor and Samoa Joe have, I don't know if you'll agree with this point or not, but they definitely have the advantage in big match experience. They've been here before.
Well, and not only that, but they've got the advantage in one-on-one. If they can manage to, rather than this being 2-on-2, isolate it so that it's two separate one-on-one matchups, they can win.
Oh, and here comes Joe.
And that hot tag, though.
Oh, the snap jabs and inverted atomic drop. And now I think he's getting ready to get kicked in the face. And the kick. Good God.
Senton!
Oh, the weight. Good God. Well, enjoy a liquefied lunch there, Wilder. And now into the corner.
I wouldn't be surprised if towards the end of his run in TNA, he was closing in on 300 pounds. But even now, he's got to be at least 270, 275.
Well, how great does Samoa Joe look? Ashton, I'm not one to throw softballs against promotions that I hate. You know my loading.
What a Uranagi!
Oh, and the Uranagi Indeed just planting Wilder. But I was getting ready to say, I feel like TNA killed the motivation of Samoa Joe. He came to NXT, he got that hunger back in his eyes. And now look at Balor here. It seems like tension here. Joe finally agrees.
Well, I mean, this has kind of been their tag team finisher. This is what works for them. Joe hits that muscle buster, even though he could probably pin the guy after that. And then Balor hits the coup de grace.
But the leg, though, the leg!
Yeah, the leg, and Joe's not legal. Joe's not legal, so this is definitely going to be a bad thing. Joe's playing defense. 1, 2, and that's it. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
It's not super surprising that they won, but what is super surprising is that the fracture is very, 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 very subtle right now between the two. It's just Joe's a little bit salty that Balor needed to tag himself in, even though he's got the knee issue.
Exactly. And you know, I mean, Balor's the NXT champion. You just got done saying, you know, you don't get in the big match situation, you don't win the big match moments by being dumb. That was pure ego, at my estimation, from Finn Balor. You got the bad wheel, and you still wanted the glory of the deciding fall.
See, you know
I don't
what though,
know,
John?
brother.
I think I'll argue that I don't think it was necessarily ego as much as it was just him wanting to be a contributor to his team, because he didn't want to feel like, almost like what we talk about with Enzo and Cass. Enzo doesn't want to feel like Cass is doing all the work. Finn didn't want to feel like he had to leave it up to Joe to get the job done by himself. He wanted to contribute, and their tag team finisher this whole time has been Muscle Buster into coup de grace, and Balor just wanted to fulfill his half of the finisher.
And look at the height he got on that bum wheel or not.
Honestly, I think the
Plants it.
smartest thing would have been for Joe to stand on the apron with his holding the tag rope and let Balor tag him in to make the pin.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there, but great coverage by Joe. That was great defense,
Great
and
ring
hey,
awareness.
absolutely. And take nothing away from the mechanics either. They brought it tonight. They gave the NXT champion a bad wheel. They can hang their cap on that. But now we know one half of the finals, it is going to be Balor and Joe. But against who? That is the question. Everybody's been saying Jordan and Gable. They got to win the match first.
And the match itself is
So we
against the
will
Man Beast
see.
Rhino and the Lone Wolf Baron Corbin.
Yeah, it's certainly not easy. As you see now, Balor and Joe kind of gazing up at the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Cup. I got to see the unveiling of that on the pre-show. I got a nice glimpse of it. It's a beautiful trophy. And could it belong to Finn Balor and Samoa Joe? That is the question.
And now we can see Sasha Banks with her legit boss rings. But John, before we end the recording here, do you want to fill both me and our listeners in on what happened before I showed up to watch this?
Just with the first match, you know, entrances and the mechanics went right on the attack. I think it was Dash Wilder made a beeline for Balor on the apron, and they isolated Joe, and then you know just the attack on Balor's leg, which you saw the bulk of. Yeah, the mechanics had a really sound game plan, not sound enough apparently, and also I should mention they had a nice video package preceding all of that, talking about respect and how it transcends, you know, championships and rivalries and things like that. And they showed Michaels and Bret Hart reconciling, and Ultimate Warrior Randy Savage shaking hands, and like Sting and Ric Flair joining forces, and then just all building to Sasha Bayley. So it was a really cool video package. So yeah, folks really didn't miss much here.
Awesome. Okay, thank you very much, John. Ladies and gentlemen, that was an enjoyable first match from what I got to see. But now we are back in our motion. We are back in our groove, and we're going to be able to continue here. Jason Jordan's about to make his entrance, so I'm going to cut the recording off here, and we will be back pretty much right away for our second match of live reactions.